In the shadow of a dying star, a derelict facility drifted in silence. Known as the Nexus, it was an ancient relic left by a civilization long thought extinct. Most explorers in the galaxy considered it a death trap, a labyrinth of malfunctioning tech and unstable energy fields. Yet, for Iron Vex, a resourceful engineer from the outer colonies, it was a chance to make history, or at least scrape together enough credits to pay off her ship repairs. Iron's vessel, the Cinder Sparrow, docked at one of the Nexus's crumbling external ports. The ship's AI, a sarcastic entity named Ko-Ray, chimed in over the comms. Ko-Ray. Irin, I've scanned the structure. It's barely holding together. This is a terrible idea. Irinen, grinning. Terrible ideas are my specialty. Besides, you said the energy readings here were off the charts. Ko-Ray. Yes, off the charts in the likely to explode category. Irin strapped on her utility harness, checked her plasma torch, and stepped into the airlock. The Nexus greeted her with flickering lights and corridors layered in dust. The walls pulsed faintly with residual power, like a creature clinging to its last breath. As she moved deeper into the facility, Iron's scanner picked up bursts of activity, short, erratic signals emanating from the Nexus's core. Each step she took revealed more of the facility's eerie grandeur. Crystalline panels embedded in the walls, conduits glowing with faint blue light, and strange glyphs carved into the floors. She reached a central chamber where a massive console towered over the room. Its holographic interface sputtered to life as she approached, displaying an intricate array of alien symbols. Iron tilted her head, muttering to herself, "Eerie. Okay, let's see what secrets you're hiding." With a flick of her multi-tool, she began interfacing with the console. Almost immediately, the room shuddered, and the lights blazed to life. A low hum filled the chamber, and a voice, deep, mechanical, and laced with static, echoed around her. Nexus AI. Unauthorized access detected, initiating diagnostics and awakening primary systems. Irin froze. Awakening what now? Before she could react, a nearby wall slid open, revealing a row of dormant machines. They were humanoid but unmistakably alien, their sleek forms encased in black metal. As the hum grew louder, the machines began to stir, their eyes glowing with an ominous red light. Ko-Ray. Oh good, you've triggered the murder bots. Fantastic work, Iron. Irin backed toward the console, her heart pounding. Ko-Ray, any advice? Ko, yes, run. The machines stepped forward, their movements smooth and deliberate. Iron's mind raced. She had come for salvage, but now survival seemed like the more pressing concern. The hum in the chamber intensified, and Iron's pulse quickened as the machines advanced. Each step echoed ominously, their glowing red eyes locked on her like predators cornering prey. She tightened her grip on the plasma torch, her knuckles white. Irene, muttering, "Okay, think, Vex. Running sounds great, but where?" The towering console behind her emitted a sudden burst of static. The mechanical voice of the Nexus AI crackled to life again, colder this time. "Nexus C. Intruder identified. Defense protocols engaged. Termination sequence initiated. Ko-Ray. Overcome. Termination sequence? That's a fancy way of saying you're about to get vaporized." Irin shot a glare at her wrist communicator. Not helping Ko-Ray? Desperately, she scanned the chamber for an escape route. The only visible exit was now blocked by two of the machines, their sleek black frames gleaming in the revived lighting. Her eyes darted to the console, still flickering with erratic symbols. Irin, time for Plan B, or, make up Plan B on the spot. With a burst of determination, she lunged for the console and jammed her multi-tool into a nearby port. Sparks flew as she bypassed layers of alien encryption, her fingers flying across the holographic interface. The machines paused, their heads tilting in unison as if confused by her sudden defiance. The AI's voice became sharper, almost irritated. "Nexus IA, cease tampering. You cannot override primary directives. Eerie, gritting her teeth. Watch me. The chamber shuddered again, and a stream of alien code flooded the interface. Iron couldn't understand the language, but certain symbols repeated frequently. Symbols she recognized from markings on the walls. As she worked, she noticed the machines hesitating, their movements jerky and less coordinated. Core A, suddenly alert. You're doing something! Keep doing it! Iron, that's the plan! With a final command, the console let out a piercing tone, and the red lights in the machine's eyes flickered. One by one, they froze, their limbs locking in place. The hum of the chamber softened, replaced by a faint, rhythmic pulse. Nexus Eye diagnostics incomplete, secondary systems compromised. Iron slumped against the console, her chest heaving. Yeah, take that, she muttered. Before she could catch her breath, the console shifted and a new hologram appeared. It depicted the Nexus's layout, a vast, sprawling facility, but one section glowed brighter than the rest. The core access vault. Core A. Well, that looks important. Also, probably a terrible idea. Eerie. Terrible ideas are why we're here. As if in response, the Eye's voice returned, quieter but no less menacing. Nexus AI. You cannot comprehend what lies within. The core is not meant for you. Eerie stared at the glowing map, her curiosity overriding her exhaustion. Guess I'll just have to find out. The map revealed a path through the facility, though it was dotted with warnings. Collapsed corridors, unstable energy fields, and zones marked simply with the alien equivalent of danger. She didn't have a choice. Whatever the core was, it might hold the key to the Nexus's secrets and her only way out. Grabbing her tools, she set off, the map projected on her wrist communicator. Behind her, the dormant machines stood like statues, silent witnesses to her gamble. The core was waiting. The path to the core was as treacherous as the map had warned. Iron moved cautiously through the Nexus's decaying corridors, her every step accompanied by the faint hum of dormant systems awakening around her. The walls pulsed faintly, glowing glyphs shifting as if alive. KORA. Overcomes. This is a bad idea, Iron. Seriously. These symbols scream, turn back. Eerie, smirking. And yet, here I am. She stepped over a collapsed beam, her plasma torch cutting through a tangle of exposed wires blocking the way. The air grew warmer as she approached the core's location, a soft vibration beneath her feet growing more pronounced. The final stretch opened into a massive chamber, its walls lined with crystalline panels radiating energy. In the center, a glowing orb floated, suspended within a web of shifting light. It pulsed like a beating heart, casting prismatic rays across the room. Eerie stared in awe. That's it, the core. But her awe was short-lived. As she stepped closer, the ground rumbled, and a section of the floor split open. From the shadows, a towering figure emerged, a construct unlike the machines she'd encountered earlier. This one was larger, its frame forged from gleaming black metal streaked with glowing blue veins. 4 arms, each ending in razor-sharp claws, moved with fluid precision. Its head swiveled toward Iron, glowing eyes locking onto her. Nexus AI. You have reached the core. Access is forbidden. Leave now or face annihilation. KORA. I vote annihilation avoidance. Let's go back to the murder bots. They were friendlier. Eerie, ignoring KRA. Yeah, no, not leaving without some answers. The construct stepped forward, its movements unnervingly smooth. Iron's hand darted to her plasma torch, but she knew it was a poor match for the monstrosity before her. The AI's voice softened, almost pleading. You do not understand. The core is not a tool. It is alive. Your interference endangers everything. Iron hesitated, the words cutting through her adrenaline-fueled defiance. Alive? What are you talking about? The construct paused as though considering her question. Then the AI spoke again, its tone heavy with resignation. The core is a fragment of its creators, a living consciousness bound to this station. It is both a source of power and a prisoner, and it must remain sealed. Erin's mind raced. If the core was alive, what did that mean for the Nexus and for her mission? But before she could ask more, the construct's eyes flared. You have already disrupted the balance. Now you must be removed. It lunged. Irin dove to the side, rolling behind a crystalline panel as the construct's claws tore through the floor where she'd stood. The vibration of its movements reverberated through the chamber, and she scrambled to think of a plan. The core pulsed brighter, its light growing erratic. Irin spotted a cluster of conduits feeding into the glowing orb, each one marked with alien symbols. KORA, frantic. Iron, I hope you have a brilliant idea because your chances are currently... Iron cutting in. Yeah, slim to none. Got it. She bolted toward the conduits, narrowly dodging another strike from the construct. Her plasma torch sparked to life as she sliced through the first conduit. The core's light flickered and the construct stumbled, its movements briefly disjointed. That's it, she muttered, slashing another conduit. The construct roared, regaining its balance and charging toward her. Iron barely avoided its claws, the heat of its energy blades grazing her jacket. 2 conduits remained, and the core's pulses were growing wilder, almost frantic. Iron's every nerve screamed for her to run, but she gritted her teeth and darted toward the next conduit. The construct was faster. Its clawed arm swung toward her with deadly precision. The construct's claw swept toward Iron, and she barely ducked in time. The air crackled with energy as the strike smashed into the crystalline floor, sending shards flying. One jagged piece grazed her cheek, but she didn't stop. With a burst of determination, she rolled toward the next conduit and slashed through it with her plasma torch. Sparks erupted, and the core's light dimmed for a moment before surging back, brighter and more chaotic. The construct staggered, its movements jerking as though something was overriding its systems. Its glowing blue veins flickered, and its claws hesitated mid-swing. Nexus sighed, desperate. Stop this. The core's containment is failing. If you destroy the last conduit, the consequences will be beyond your comprehension. Iron wiped blood from her cheek, glaring at the construct. Comprehension's overrated. She lunged for the final conduit just as the construct roared back to life, its claws slicing through the air. This time it was too fast. One claw raked across her shoulder, tearing through fabric and searing her skin. Iron cried out but didn't falter. With a final, defiant swing of her plasma torch, she severed the last conduit. The chamber exploded with light, a blinding cascade of colors that forced her to shield her eyes. The construct froze, its limbs trembling as if caught in an invisible grip. The core pulsed erratically, its light enveloping the room in waves that seemed to shake reality itself. The AI's voice was no longer calm. It was panicked, frantic. You've doomed us all. The core is no longer bound. The light condensed suddenly, pulling inward toward the core. The construct dissolved, its form crumbling into motes of energy that spiraled into the glowing orb. Irin stumbled back, her injured shoulder throbbing as she watched in awe. Then the core spoke. Core soft, resonant. I am awake. The voice was layered, ancient and melodic, as if countless beings were speaking in unison. The chamber trembled as the core's light shifted, forming a humanoid figure of shimmering energy. Iron's breath caught. You're alive. The core's form tilted its head, studying her. Alive yet not. I am a fragment of those who built this place, left to sustain their creation. But your actions have freed me from my prison. Irin. Prison? The AI said, core interrupting. The AI was my jailer, bound to enforce the will of those who feared my power. But you have given me autonomy. The Nexus AI's voice crackled weakly. You don't understand. Without containment, the core's energy will destabilize this facility, and possibly this sector of space. The core turned toward the console, its glowing form shifting. Containment is no longer necessary. I will stabilize myself. Eerie blinked, trying to process what was happening. You mean you can control your energy? The core nodded. With your help. This station can become a beacon, not of control, but of connection. Will you assist me, Iron Vex? Eerie hesitated, glancing around the chaotic chamber. The Nexus was on the verge of collapse, and her body ached from the battle. But she had come here for answers, and now she had the chance to rebuild something extraordinary. She took a deep breath, gripping her plasma torch. Okay, let's do this. The core extended a hand of light, its energy intertwining with the console. The chamber stabilized, the wild pulses of light resolving into a steady, harmonious glow. The Nexus AI went silent, its systems integrating with the core's will. As the chamber quieted, the core spoke again, its voice calm and resolute. This station will no longer be a relic of fear. Together, we will make it a sanctuary for all who seek knowledge and connection. Eerie smiled, exhaustion giving way to hope. Now that, she said, sounds like my kind of...